Well, if Dark Zero maybe got an easy matchup in the form of Scars earlier, another NA team, the best in NA, the first place seed coming out of NA, has a bit tougher of a matchup, unfortunately. Beast Coast versus maybe the rightful world champion, some could say. Some people being me.
That's hot on the presses.
But in all seriousness, going into this tournament, looking like one of the best teams in the world, Beast Coast will need to have their, well, I was going to curse, but I'll be polite, their stuff together.
That is a curse in England. Beast Coast versus FaZe. And, well, yeah. I mean, I think that's all you can really say at this point. Because, let's be honest, that's how Beast Coast kind of got here. It was a roster that came together, had a great run, no two ways about it, in a region that was struggling.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people want to rebuild. And the interesting thing about Beast Coast, Jacob actually brought this up at the beginning of the stage. None of these 5 players had ever teamed with somebody else on this team.
Yep.
Entirely new, as an entirely new roster can get. But as you said, similar to kind of the situation in Europe, a lot of NA teams were building. Beast Coast putting in the work in the offseason and coming together very, very nicely to get that first seed. And let's be fair. Sure, Beast Coast, they're clearly the underdog in this matchup. FaZe have not exactly had an easy time so far. They're 1-1 for a reason.
And that's the sort of other side of it. And you have to look at who they were 1-1 with. It was Liquid. That went pretty much all the way, 7-5 as well on their back end. But when you're looking at Beast Coast, it's a similar sort of story, right? Their one win so far was against Cyclops, 7-3. They're not exactly the top dogs. They're a Phase 1 team that was sort of dispatched and moved aside there. And yeah, it's a team that's on the rebuild. They lost to Dark Zero, 4-7 on Cafe. They lost against a team that, let's be honest, if you're coming in as the strongest team from NA, regardless of whether you're the one from the start, regardless of whether you're one that's done a run, it doesn't matter. If you're losing to teams from the same region, that is a little bit of cause for concern.
It is, certainly, and especially, Beast Coast got a bit of a lead early on, but then DZ were able to kind of buckle down, win a few rounds in a row, then end up closing out the series, and Beast Coast in their game on Cafe looked very similar to Beast Coast on Cafe in the NAL. They were going for a lot of the same executes, usually involving Hot and Cold in the Monty, really that kind of player and operator combination that started Beast Coast comeback in the NAL were those Monty plants. A lot of the stuff they did yesterday was the exact same stuff they did in the NAL, and DZ loved their prep.
Yep.
That was the first game they played. They were able to counter it very effectively once they realized what they were doing. Going into this game today, talking about FaZe as well, FaZe against that Liquid game yesterday, all right, 7-5, good job.
7-5, good job.
7-5,
clap.
7-5, good job. Clap, clap. 7-3'd by Secret on Chalet, a map that they permaban religiously, bring it out for the first time in an event, and Secret, who looked hot yesterday, dominated them individually, strategically. It was a Secret win.
It's a very strange situation to be in, right? Because you have, for both these teams, comparisons about their sort of same region matchups, and both these teams against different regions, very different sort of setups, but I'm sure, I've obviously come from EU with a bit of a bias towards seeing how they've played. People didn't expect a lot from Secret. Or if they did, people didn't expect as much as Secret delivered in their opening game against FaZe. And that's a strange upset. That's a strange position. And that puts you in this sort of argument of, all right, who is really behind the course here? Am I being biased and saying Secret is stronger than CAG? Or am I sort of looking at the split here and going, let's be a bit realistic?
Well, and Secret not only looked really good strategically yesterday, but the big difference maker, because FaZe were adapting. They were recognizing, in terms of their positioning and their game plan, what was going wrong and adapting to what Secret were doing. The big problem, there weren't a lot of great individual performances yesterday. Secret, Joom especially, was outgunning them. Adrian on the roam was outgunning them.
Yep.
FaZe looked cold. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure FaZe didn't really boot camp before the event either, flying in just a few days ago in totality. So maybe now they've got a couple games under their belt to be able to shoot a little straighter.
Where are we going? Not to Bank. We're on to the bans, and Bank is the first instant removal. Not really been played
That's a
by
shock.
either, but Chalet, yeah.
Can't believe that.
As you said, it was FaZe's loss to Secret, a 3-7. Consulate was actually their win versus Liquid, so Beast Coast doesn't want to double down.
No, they don't, and the follow-up ban from FaZe makes sense as well. The two maps it was kind of, they didn't play Chalet, and they didn't like to play Border.
Yep.
Well, now they're back to banning Chalet and Border in this series. Not fans of it. I will say, I'm a bit surprised by the Oregon ban from FaZe just because they've won it like 12 times in the past like 6 to 9 months or so. They're really good on this map. Ooh. But look at this. We have a skyscraper as our singular map for today. This is a bit surprising because, one, this is another great map for FaZe. They've only lost it once in the calendar year to Scars over a year ago. And Beast Coast, in this organization's history, rosters aside, have only played it once as an org in the past year. This roster has not touched it. They must feel really confident in their game plan to be bringing out against FaZe.
Okay. This is one of the things where we obviously have to piece things together. Now, FaZe getting rid of Chalet, yeah, makes sense. Getting rid of Border, yeah, kind of makes sense, regardless of FaZe's stats. If you're looking at a roster that's come together that's built of good gunners, where do you not want them to go to? You want them to not go to maps that are very aggressive or maps that lean itself and build around it, like Border, or you don't want them to go to maps that they'll probably have a keen knowledge on regardless of how well they play, like Oregon. The removal of clubs in that situation is because they know how good FaZe are at it and how good they can be. So they were kind of, I think, hoping for Labs as the split there, but Skyscraper's there. This can be a nightmare without a very interconnected attack.
That's true. The one thing Beast Coast have, though, going into this, FaZe were the ones that picked Skyscraper. They could choose between Nighthaven or Skyscraper. They pick Sky. That means Beast Coast gets side selection, and they start on the defense. This team were defense merchants in the NAL. I think almost around maybe on the low end, off the top of my head, 65 to 67. On the high end, maybe even up into the 70s defensive win rate. And they're also pretty well known for going 1-5 on their attacks, 2-4 at best, and then winning every single defensive round after that. So starting on defense for Beast Coast here will be really good, but given FaZe's history, especially on the defensive side during the SI Grand Final, winning 6 rounds in a row to beat Furia 7-5, they're also fantastic on the defense on this map. Beast Coast need every round in these first 6 to make this a competitive series, in my mind.
So, how much of this game will be defined by failures in the first half? As you said, the pressure is on, but FaZe, if we say Skyscraper is at points a tricky map, you're doing a lot of corner clearing, a lot of sort of coordinated pushes, utility drives towards set locations on the second story. Generally, you'll see a lot of the control fought over there. How does it happen against a team who can be one of the best attack teams in the world and truly set themselves apart last year?
How do you set yourself apart against FaZe?
You're lost for words.
That's the key question. How do you set yourself apart against FaZe? If you're Secret yesterday, you have a great game plan, great individual skill. From Beast Coast, we had great performances against Cyclops yesterday. That much I expect for the first seed out of the NA League.
Yeah.
But then against the DZ yesterday, it was fine. As good as a 7-4 can get, maybe. But here, look at what FaZe have banned. Vidiking, one of the best Monty players in the world, and FaZe don't care. They banned Monty against Beast Coast because that is an attacking operator they have relied on so many times to get the few attacking rounds they can get.
In conversation about their game versus Dark Zero yesterday, whilst trying to work out what happened, it was a fair few rounds that went away from Dark Zero at the beginning. Dark Zero called a timeout, and then from that point onwards, I think it was about technically a 7-1. There was only one more round that was won out by there. I believe so, off the top of my head. But the thing I 100% remember, in the words of the casters who covered it, was Beast Coast was a little bit cautious, a little bit scared, a little bit of, hey, they're showing up to this major as a roster for the first time. This is where things are going to get a bit sticky and sweaty. And you go, okay, well, the second day you get a chance to breathe. And then you go, oh, we're playing FaZe.
Yes, and talking about not only this roster that in many parts is new or coming back to the international scene, Gunner obviously being dropped off the Sonics a couple stages ago. Spirits has been out of the picture for a while. But Diffuser, this is his first international event, his first stage of pro play.
Yep.
And what does he have to do? Solo roam as Solus against FaZe Clan on Skyscraper right now. It's a bit of a difficult position to find yourself in. He's the lowest rated player so far for Beast Coast as well. Still getting his feet under them. It's to be expected he might have a bit of a rough time. But you talked about Solus sometimes being a confidence operator. Diffuser is part of this strategy, which we've not seen this roster play Skyscraper, is in a bit of an isolated position, kind of like how we often see Cyber is on FaZe. And here, it's neither of those players that are doing the talking. Vidiking trying to cut off this rotation through Shrine, but Akiba right in his face to shield the player to rotate back to Drum. So Beast Coast doing a good job so far, working down the clock, but also completely dodging these cutoff angles.
Houghton gets the first. Cyber is taken care of. The Buck got a little bit too engaged, a little bit too curious about the fight around the top of Shrine themselves, and maybe sent themselves a bit too far. Gunner still has the lockdown on towards Drum, watching across Terrace, and a minute 20, it's still a bit par for the course, but now is where you start to get the moments of worry, because look, Diffuser's confident enough to start drifting his way alongside the stock and the prep line. He's still holding onto this area, and as soon as someone tries to enter above, without clearing him, he has the catch on them. There is many guns that are angled towards this entire push. They're trying to get the line in the back. KDS is looking towards the top of Shrine, retake the territory they've already lost. But at this point, it's just sort of sending themselves.
They are, and they've got to make kind of a decision at this point. They can maybe send somebody down below to take a 1v1 with Diffuser, but they haven't cleared out this Azami from Drum either, and they're a bit strapped for explosives right now. Just the lifelines that are already gone and the nades that are still to be used by KDS. They're in the 4v5. They're starting to push in, and Gunner falls back. Very logical. But with that Solus down below, it's going to be hard to get a plant down, especially in a man disadvantage.
KDS takes a scrape, and he's able to get himself back into the situation with a gunfight back and forth, but nothing has hit hot yet, and he can... well, not use a smoke, but Diffuser can use a gun. The Solace has appeared all the way around the back. Retaken Shrine once again, 2 for 2 on Body's here, and Body's no longer here. Handy, he's going to try and just swing his way across the top of the main stairs. They lost the one on the crossfight. Souls is gone. Handy is just caught in the middle of everything. Drifting, being shot from several different angles. Cannot find a route out. Beast Coast, with the heat of the coach behind them, get that first round.
Yeah, first round on Skyscraper defense. Diffuser also looking confident on that flank. Really good hold and communication. Now, Skyscraper defense, I won't lie.
It helps.
It helps. It's not, but we're not talking about chalet defense right here or Oregon attack. This is a map that is very, very good to defend. As much as Fresh wants to talk about how it's easy to attack, but if you do have success on the attacking side, it's when you can play positions like the terrace window, like the shrine window, cut off defenders as they rotate back. The Beast Coast recognize that, have the Azami to help the rotations for the people on the roam, but then are able to catch FaZe off guard, who are really stalled out completely in Shrine and Terrace. And the thing I want to highlight specifically, Cyber going down early. Cyber was picked off relentlessly by Secret in their game on Chalet yesterday. A player who's often an individual by himself as part of FaZe's game plan was, specifically on the defense side, picked off early or picked off at important moments in the mid-round. Here, he's the opening death again. If that happens and continues to happen for FaZe today, Beast Coast could find a very good way into these rounds.
First round is theirs. As you said, it's Skyscraper.
It's T-Karaoke.
It's just T-Karaoke. It's known as a way to hold. You're looking at 4-2 is probably the rough average on how well teams do on their defenses in terms of the split. Here, and how stressed they might become on the second side is going to be the tell. As I said, coming to Skyscraper as a roster that's come together, there's going to be stickier bits you've got to iron out, especially in our current sort of extension of defensive operators. When we've seen however many Azamis, castles, the sort of extensions across the top floor, the mirror occasionally or not occasionally played, there's so much construction that goes into a decent hold here, and that requires practice, practice, and do you know what?
More practice.
More practice, but practice is going to be the take. They're going to see if they can try and bandit trick out. There's no pressure coming in from underneath. They've got the Thatcher, and they think this will be plenty. It is a single wall, though, so a well-played and placed Thatcher with all the attention paid towards it should and might be able to
here we go. Yeah, Vidiking rotating down below will probably use the lifeline on this wall. There we go.
There we go.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that. Just to be absolutely safe. He still walks back over. Oh, but good concussion. Really thorough work from Vidiking right there. That's what we like. It is a bit of a utility sync. We've got 2 EMPs and 3 lifelines used, so I will say a lot expended to open that single panel, but they get it open and they stop the bandit trick. They've just got to be careful on the other side now. Soul's working the Geisha position at the moment, and FaZe in a bit of a similar spot right now. At least they haven't lost Cyber early on, but they don't have a clear way in just yet. That might change as Souls moves into Geisha, going for a bit of an across take at the moment, but Diffuser and Gavini, if nobody's cutting them off on Shrine and Terrace, could rotate back just as easily as round 1.
I mean, they still have a pretty comfortable extension. They're just going to try and lay the explosives to get rid of the wall. I don't know if it works with Selmas.
Wow,
apparently it does.
Smart from Souls.
Clever to know. I knew you could do it with other breaching charges, but the Selmas, not always used for the elongation. Cyber's looking for the fight back on the pings, but it's caught. Soul surrounded. Gunner does get KDS. Back to the trade. It's Handy. He's trying to be the back end, the anvil to the hammer hit that comes across as the 2 players isolated around the top of Drum and around the top of Shrine. Spirits is happy to play behind the shield, but at some point the pressure needs to come through. Think of the utility that's already been thrown. They don't have the Sophia stuns. They're out of the house charges. What are they going to try and force their way through with?
And that's the problem. They don't really have many options, like you said, but Beast Coast defense is so tight right now. Not only are they all playing trades, all helping bridge people back, but they're also, aside from Spirits right there, very aware of where FaZe are pushing from. FaZe, after all this effort, all this time, have only got a 3v3, and Hot and Cold still has a C4 to either drop down below to deny the plant or stop anybody from pushing in. FaZe are running out of time, and Beast Coast are all playing within arm's reach of each other.
Where's the kit? Becomes this fun little game, and it's dropped outside the top of VIP wall. They're going to to have to recollect that and find themselves, I don't really know, because nothing is under their control in the site. Cyber steps in towards the top of the house stairs and gets cut down by Kevinini underneath. There's a bit of a retake, a bit of a retrade, a 2 versus 1, all down to Gunner. He caught as well! Swung the pre-fire, maybe probably didn't have to. It's easy for us to say that, but at the same time, it's what's happened.
I mean, that was a Beast Coast round through and through. A round that, if this could be decided by defensive halves, or if you want to flip it, what few attacks teams can muster together. That's a round that Beast Coast, that might very well cost them the game, depending on what happens. They had that in the bag. Early to mid-round, stalling out FaZe, not dying to also the gaps that FaZe thought they found, especially watching that house breach that I believe Gunner and Gavini were both watching. Really nice stuff from Beast Coast, making sure FaZe can't find a way in, and then 3v2. Going into the execute, FaZe take 1v1s, win them, and it's a good showcase of mechanical skill, but it's a difficult spot once you're in that 1v2. The round is already, the momentum's already started, escaping your grasp.
Yep.
You're in a difficult position. Do you swing? Do you wait for the plant? There's a lot of not great options and a lot of uncertainty. Just a shame because, like I said, if FaZe are able to win the tertiary sites, they got a 3-3 now.
Talking about tertiary sites, we have one of the most questioned and questionable sites across all of our competitive map pool.
I hate talking about it because it's like, this site sucks. It really does suck. But like, it gets played 8 times a tournament, and because teams aren't used to it, it gets won like 5 times.
Yeah, it has a great win rate, but it doesn't deserve it. It's true, and yeah, okay, it's easy and fun to sort of talk about it. It becomes just a shooting gallery. You're looking at vertical control that comes across the top and needs to be sort of rested out. But as soon as they sort of get, if they want, the wall that's the stretch towards the bedroom and across the opposite side, or if they just tuck in on the little hop in and go towards the bedroom, there's just, you don't need to do a huge amount of work on a big map to get yourself inside and putting pressure on a kid.
No, as long as you're able to kind of lock down delivery in the bottom of house stairs, and then of course push the defenders back through the vertical control. You can cut them off as they rotate back. You can encircle the site. But again, teams aren't used to attacking it, so getting that game plan figured out in round, when you're focused more on what you're doing for T-Karaoke and exhibition, that often takes precedence. And Beast Coast so far have had a very solid early to mid round. So if they can delay another minute 30, minute 45, FaZe could find themselves in that very position, struggling to get a solid game plan together in time.
I'm assuming it's Hotton all the way over in Karaoke, just playing themselves as far away as possible. No, it's in fact
Diffuser.
not. Someone is.
No, not Diffuser. Gunner. There we go.
Right.
Of course it's Gunner.
On the roll of the Bandit, hoping he doesn't get caught out and he can try and backstab. As I said, if the idea is let's try and get that little bit of vertical control, maybe they'll force themselves in halfway through. Maybe they won't go for the full map clear because you don't really feel like you should. Handy has an idea though, and this is that problem. He's going to swing himself in. He's pre-aiming and pre-angling. The flash ran onto the back end. Gunner takes a couple of steps and an execution. Brilliantly played by Handy.
Very well played by Handy, especially as now FaZe are down to 4 drones, able to actually get something off that intel and the flashbang expended, and get a 5v4, which so far hasn't exactly been easy going for FaZe. They've had they were at a man disadvantage early on in round 1, that had to fight back out of a 2v3 to get their second, so this is a position they've not found themselves in, and are going to be very happy doing so. Remember I mentioned the importance of this delivery position. KDS finds himself here right outside of the site. If the defenders start rotating back, he can cut them down with that DMR, and finding hot and cold in that Solus, that Specchio scanner, or either of the C4 operators, Gavini, Spirits, those are their priorities.
Slight rotations inside, but again, it's just sort of waiting for the pressure. I mean, the questions last time were FaZe don't have a lot of utility. How are they inside? Hey, FaZe are inside the site without expending the utility other than just let's get in and gun people. There's Vida with the cross. This is what we talked about. This site becoming so deadly. Gavini has to rotate his way down. They've got 2 kills. That's all the control they needed. There's one more on the back end, and Spirits sits, waits, and watches the spirits of his teammates drift off. They were unable to react and pull out. They might be able to get 1 or 2. There's the first reveal by the barrel. There's the instant response. FaZe, I mean, the hold is just as strong for them now as it probably was for the original defenders.
Spirits might be able to find a couple more here. Well, maybe, 3 more theoretically speaking with how low HP KDS, Cyber, and Souls are, but the time's too low, and FaZe are playing, well, generally speaking, playing too passive for him to do anything. KDS will finish it off, and there's a guaranteed 2-4 half for FaZe that we were worried about. All because of, 1, a good setup on the bathroom site, or a good attack on the bathroom site, and then just able to clutch out a 2v3 on Office. And we mentioned how these kind of bedroom rounds should go. That, generally speaking, is how those attacks should pan out, because you see KDS outside of delivery, and instead of having a roam clear on the top floor, we see Cyber initiate that pressure by finding a gap inside of the site, getting the kill, sprinting through. The defense starts reacting to the execute. You have Vidiking holding a passive angle upstairs. The cutoff wasn't on the bottom floor, it was on the top floor instead, but still a similar setup overall. FaZe executing that very well, showing how you attack that site, even though it might only get played 7 times a tournament.
This is that sort of moment of worry as well, is that they've twice been able to sort of, without the drive of utility, and they use, when I say this, they are obviously using utility in their approach, but stepping into side, stepping into VIP in the second round on the top of house stairs, stepping in there to the side itself and winning out fights, that's something FaZe can do and do. And if you were to look at other teams and you say, oh no, they've only got 4 drones left, this is over for them. FaZe just become the drone. And they're so confident in it, and you're sort of like, damn, how do we stop this?
Well, and also FaZe at their peak are just, they're so confident with their engagements, but in a different way than Furia is. Because Furia is confident in the way that they lack fear. FaZe is confident in the way that they're just very sure of themselves, and they know the smart plays available to them, know the smart engagements, and know what they can get away with. In a little bit more kind of slow and methodical fashion than a player like Herds is. Not that he's not thinking, but, Herds will run into a room and get 3 kills. Cyber runs into site, gets 1, and then FaZe know that they can get an execute off of that. It's just a bit of a difference in playstyle, which is part of the reason why watching them is FaZe and Fury, so fun to watch when they play together. Beast Coast now going back to T and Karaoke, as we can see. A bit of a change in the lineup. Heavy roam last time, a bit more of an anchor this go around. Still have the Azami, but they've dropped the Solus. And honestly, I think that's smart, because FaZe struggled to clear out this drum and shrine position before, and now you've made it even harder.
The Maverick is obviously getting some work done there on the hard walls. I'm not entirely sure if that was a response towards the pressure that they felt on the first round. Obviously, it was the round that they lost, and their approach was a little bit more limited. Either way, there's not really anything that's stopping the walls. We've seen a Goyo pop off and cause some damage. That's sort of it. Otherwise, it's just going to be the matter of trying to rebuff them when the walls are open themselves. Now, it's a slower, steadier approach, but if it solves the problems they think they had, well, that's why Beast Coast have doubled down, swapped it, as you said, gone themselves to a different lineup. Now, they do still have the stretch all the way across the top. Spirits is having a good time on the far end of the trophy room at the same time, and there's no one that's directly challenging him. They're being a lot more centered towards the side. They're going to do what they've done the past 2 rounds, Carter, which is let's just walk in and start killing people. The pressure should come from top black soon, just to sort of alleviate the balance here around the push itself.
And this is what I was going to say. Spirits can wrap around so easily to either side of the site. Somebody's got to deal with him. It appears Handy's that guy. Really nice play by KDS. The coordination to clear out hot and cold from that position, quite strong. He can now hit a lurk up main stairs as well.
That's it. They now have the control. That's the only player that was on B. KDS is going to rotate his way, as I said, towards top black. It works alongside the trade that was otherwise built, the construction. They're just ignoring the extension for now.
Oh, but Diffuser could be such a problem here, especially with 2 people outside of Geisha. They need to have some answer for him, whether it's flashes or something.
Well, the flashes go through. The grenade gets Gunner on the back end. The kid has passed and then has passed spiritually as well. There's 2 with Gaveni getting 1 on the back. It's suddenly just Handy left alive. The single position has cost them quite massively here. Handy's on the slow creep towards it.
Nobody in sight.
2 players. They've built themselves round towards the top of black stairs. 10 seconds. Has no kit. The remaining Beast Coast players have kept themselves at arm's length. They know how precious, how important this round is. They're waiting for the call that they're going for the plant. They're going to go 2 at a time. There's a little bit too little and a little bit too late. Beast Coast, second round is theirs. You look pensive. You look thoughtful.
I'm thinking.
You're thinking.
So, because I was curious. So I saw the air jab go off right at the end there, and I'm like, Handy might have actually been able to get away with that plan. Not saying, from his perspective, he probably had no idea. But, if the air jab was there, and I can't remember if there was a rotate to top black or not, he might have actually...
I don't think there was.
He might have been able to actually get away with the plant there. But it's very low on time, and he probably... don't expect them to keep track of every single air jab position on the planet. I mean, I didn't even know it was there. But still, just theoretically speaking, he actually might have been able to get away with that. But either way, Diffuser ended up being the big problem. I think their solution was fine in the short term. They can get into Geisha with those flashes. But actually, similar story to yesterday, I said this exact thing in the FaZe Secret game. Flashes don't last forever. They can recover their vision, peek back around, and kill you, and Diffuser ends up getting 2 kills on the players, pushing Geisha. And unfortunately, they had an answer for it after that. They had somebody rotate around a terrace and hop in, but he was a bit late on the play. The players Geisha were already in by the time he hopped in terrace window, and Diffuser recovered from the flashes, got the kills, and only died after the round had already kind of collapsed for FaZe and put Handy in that 1v2.
So, what changes do we get on this split, on this side? Now, let's be honest, we said it at the sort of time. If this round had been won, this should have been. If this round has been lost, is this going to be the reason they lose the whole map? They know that as well as we do. If they can pull this together, if they can somehow find a tertiary as well, suddenly it's gone from bad to better.
Okay.
But again, the changes, the sort of play here, Beast Coast, they're not going to try and hold off on the walls. They were so, I'm not going to say desperate onto us tricking it, but they weren't going to dabble in it.
Yeah, but you'd like to get away with a bandit trick. In isolation, you don't know what utility they're bringing. You're like, if I can get rid of an exothermic or a Selma or two, I'm happy with that. But they saw that there was the Thatcher and the Zofia last time, and while there's no Zofia here, there is an Ashe, but Beast Coast are kind of conditioned. All right, let's not go for the bandit trick. Let's drop that out of the lineup. Instead, we have the Womai this time to catch some of those projectiles, which, given how FaZe have been a bit reliant on their flashes to acquire control in certain positions, I think is a very sensible choice to bring. Deny some of those projectiles, and it was handy last time, but this time it appears to be Cyber deciding to try and take 1v1s with these roamers.
Again, just happy and confident and trustworthy. This is that sort of game that we talk about with Skyscraper. It is an absolute minefield of corners and checking and clearing. And this is a team that's confident in the calls of their teammates. Obviously, having the glances round, making sure that they've got it locked in and saying, yeah, I know that all this is safe. And this is where the challenge is going to come into this game, is going to be Beast Coast having to do that. It's always still, and more than ever, a game of 2 halves in Skyscraper. Spirits is forced off a shield. Last time they just jumped in and killed the player behind it. The Flores, the adaptation, they're not going to sit around against these keeper barricades and shields.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They dropped the Zofia. They're able to get the wall open for free, which the Zofia helped them do last time.
Yep.
They get it open much better this time, and now they have the Flores to destroy that shield and clear across. They haven't really cleared out Shrine and Terrace on any of these sites all that well, even in rounds that they've won. But here, they destroy the shield. They've got angles. They push Beast Coast further back. Their defense is going to start feeling a lot of pressure.
Last time we said 4 drones. Can they do it? This time it's 2. And everybody is still alive.
Yeah, everybody's still alive, and Gavini and Gunnar still holding on to Shrine. You still have people in Terrace as well. Beast Coast can fight back. They can take these fights, and if they get an advantage, FaZe in a problematic position.
Let's see if they can try and send it now. 40 seconds. They're eyeing themselves on the push and the pressure. A change of position here. Gavini is watching onto the Shrine window and is able to do some of the damage. There's the rest of it. With Gunnar getting one on the back end. Diffuser has one of his own. KDS gets at least a single trade. The run out isn't entirely caught from the single wall, but Cyber is left alone. He is bit into, but not knocked out. Gets 1 drop, goes for the pistol, swing round. There's someone to his left, someone to his right. It's all Beast Coast.
All Beast Coast all day. And if you notice, outside of those Rotero drones, there wasn't really anything else to deal with those Kiba barricades, aside from maybe the Selmas, the Ashe charges, but you want to use the Selmas for the breaches, the Ashe charges for the mirrors. You want to use those in other spots. And you might be wondering, why is that important? Why is that bringing it up? Well, a lot of the Rotero drones went to use on, shields and Kibas. That's true, but 1 Kiba stayed alive. If I recall, there was still the Kiba on that Shrine window, I think. And
yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so that makes hopping in that window a little more problematic. You force a lot of flashes out of Vidiking or whoever hopped in that window. But then you also have the player playing behind the pillar, playing anti-flash, dodging the flashbangs itself, and getting that kill. That's what Beast Coast needed. That 5v4, retain either Shrine or Terrace. Just so happened that they retained both, and that's why that round was so dominant. They won the 1v1s at both those positions, and it's hard for any team, let alone FaZe Clan, to flood in after that.
So, we get to a tale of 2 halves, they said, and we're starting on the site that we haven't actually seen yet. Holding on to this requires verticality. It requires keeping a bit of the sort of Geisha energy, the karaoke energy you'd see from a Geisha karaoke hold. You can do the stretch onto the back end, which, well, they're a little bit curious of, but for now, when it's your last send before you find yourself in your second half, why not? try and dabble with the unexpected. You've already lost Bedroom, and pretty cleanly, might I add.
Very cleanly. It's actually the only clean attack FaZe have so far. Their other was that 2v3 on Exhibition and Office we've already talked about. So FaZe don't exactly have a lot of good rounds to fall back on. And in this case, you know, a lot of the times on Kitchen Barbecue, you mentioned you need to hold the top floor. That's still true.
Yep.
But sometimes we'll see teams bring Castle to make that a lot easier. Go for the traditional extension, basically anchoring inside of Geisha. But this is similar to Beast Coast strategy so far. They've only brought Castle one time on Bedroom, coincidentally. It's a bit looser over Rome. They've got Gavini running around in the Solus, Spirits inside of Exhibition and Office, inside of, well, Exhibition and Office. So they're all trying to play loose, trying to see where FaZe are pushing from initially and then likely rotate where. Oh, well, rotate where they start getting pressured, and unfortunately, Spirits cut off by Handy.
Well ready and well read there, as he said, forced the motion, and now they've, I'm going to say control here on the back end, but they can start making their way across. Gunner's going to see if he can retake. And with the VIP wall still solid, he has a little bit of wiggle room, but FaZe is droning and droning and droning again. If he gets caught out, then that's two bodies handed over for territory that is in no way directly connected to the site itself. He's taking a big risk here, and it's about to not pay off.
So thorough for FaZe. Down to 2 drones, though, but still, look at how good their droning is. Down to 1 drone now that Gunner's taking it.
Drone.
A minute and 20 seconds left. FaZe they are efficient with their droning, but they got Spirits. They don't have much else. All they've got is Exhibition and Office at the moment. They don't have full Geisha control yet. There are players that can either contest or retake on the top floor. Still anchors on the site. FaZe have that 5v3 now, though, and 1 drone doesn't seem to matter all that much anymore.
Yeah, they're able to get themselves the Solace. That's a big, big blow to the control. As I said, it's a sort of site where you get yourself up and down.
Diffuser
cannot get the connection. Does escape. Is he going to go for the outside rotate? He was thinking about it on the restaurant window. There's Cyber getting the rest of the pieces picked up before. Gunner gets 1. Before, 2. 3 versus 2 as the C4 is able to connect. 30 seconds and a big blow.
A big blow, and Han Cold still has control of delivery. He's got intel on this player, too. FaZe can't drone. He can wrap around here.
Now he's just tucked around onto the back end. There's the catch, but there's the only revealed player left. They're slightly separated. They got the ping on the restaurant fight, and he cannot win it out as close as you liked. And it becomes this moment here, Carter. That position is because FaZe had no more drones. Is it a question of that's FaZe's playstyle and it's kind of working, or is it what this is going wrong for FaZe?
No, I mean, having no drones left with a minute 20 remaining when all you've got is that 5v4. I mean, they do have 0 cams. They've got some backup intel, but FaZe, that's a little bit of them not getting a huge return on a lot of those drones, but they do get a 5v4, and it's clear they had existing intel on what the setups were to inform how they wanted to play that round. But if Gunner stays alive and hot and cold with that position inside of delivery, I think if Gunner's able to win that 1v1, that is a very winnable round for Beast Coast. But unfortunately, Gunner dies and they can react in time. Yeah,
it's almost like those sort of errors on the report card are being covered by how good FaZe are at other things.
I mean, they have a 5v3, like ultimately no drones, and FaZe are looking, at least in gun skill, not at their peak, but looking a lot hotter than yesterday. It's still around they should win.
Yeah. 3 apiece. Beast Coast 1 shy of what we've sort of said they should aim for, but if they could get themselves a good blow here as the lead in, they might be able to try and thread something a bit powerful when you've got what appears to be the chance at a bit of a snatch and grab. You're, the drive of Ying on the side of Diffuser, the control here of the Deimos on the back end of Spirits as well. It doesn't really matter how much the extension is. If you get the impression you can steal around, that can go a long, long way here.
They can, and as we mentioned earlier, FaZe very, very strong on Skyscraper, and, to kind of, I suppose, I was going to say contextualize, but also complicate the picture I painted earlier of FaZe on Skyscraper. While they did win 6 defensive rounds against Furia to come back 7-5, their most recent showing, they only won 2 defenses the entire match and barely won 8-7 in the domestic league. Right now, Hot Cold's like, come on, just peek just peek That's why you jiggle peek. You don't commit until you get the intel.
Never commit. That's something that you should all take away from this.
That's not what you should take
Never
away from
commit.
this.
Casting links 2024.
I don't know about all that. Cyber Cyber potentially going for the run out again, but as you talked about, they've got the Deimos. They could try and hunt down Cyber, or I believe yet the other roamer, Soul's playing alongside him inside of Exhibition and Office. beastcoast want to go for a clear on this side. They've got 4 players over here, 2 up top, and I believe 2 on the bottom as well. So the potential for a pinch, especially as Gavini can probably get control of house stairs, but that Gone 6 will reveal his position. He'll instead pressure from below with the skeleton key.
Cyber is still having a laugh. Just swinging his way out there. They know that he's drawing attention. You know he's drawing pressure. And there's that Ying I talked about. If they can get a whiff of an idea and a whiff of a pinch, they can move behind it. Cyber still, whilst blinded, wants to see what else is out there. And if he finds any new species, he's going to try and shoot them in the face. The cover comes across there. Still holding on to the same position. Just saw a player on rappel, and this has drawn so much attention and time out of beastcoast.
That's what I was going to say. They've made no progress right now. They've lost so many drones, and sure, they've just got Cyber. They can finish this off, but look at how much time and resources have been spent.
Well, there's the second. Gav was offered Souls.
All right, I'll shut my mouth.
Sort of follow through Beast, but Souls didn't really need to go for that. He hoped he could get it before the snap came to put the end of the take. 5 versus 3, 50 seconds, loads of time. And Handy's going to hold on here, but passing this sort of crevasse is the problem. There's the idea, the smoke to cover anyone that might want to swing from drum side. KDS in a very, very important position as the Deimos starts to get a bit of a track on. The wide swing, the reveal, it's a Ying. You know what's about to come next. You got to make sure that you're the step ahead.
Candela's incoming. KDS will hold on for just a time. They might just line up for him.
Ooh, he's so close. He finishes one, but it explodes on the back end under pressure. Handy takes a lot of damage as well. KDS, he's tucked and he's almost able to get the end of Gunner, but it's caught by Spirits on the crossfire. Handy. 3 players, but barely more seconds than that. As Gavini's going to see if he can try and get this diffuser cemented. The impact is impactless, but Spirits has the last call, and there was a moment on Shrine where I thought things were about to go very wrong for beastcoast.
That could have been the round right there, the 3v5 recovery for FaZe, and that round ultimately a duel between 2 collaterals, 2 different players lining up. We have that case where KDS almost finds 2, the Ying and the other player in Shrine, isn't able to make it happen, but then 2 players line up for Gavini on that roam clear. The Doc and the Mute all pretty much right there inside a mini bar, and he's able to get both. I was literally not flaming them, but I was like, all right, guys, 2 minutes, 6 drones. We've all just been running around the top floor and the bottom floor for 2 minutes. We haven't actually got a pinch, and to be fair, they still did not have a pinch.
Yeah.
But Gavini walked in and was able to pick up both of them, and it's like, all right, well, you've at least got the 5v3. Somebody stepped up individually, and in that case, it was Gavini, to get that advantage, and now both teams on the attack have won a primary bomb site, and both teams had problems. FaZe in that Exhibition Office attack. beastcoast there. That was a much more dominant victory from beastcoast, going up 5-3 and just converting it. Difficult spot now for FaZe. Worrying spot.
I think this is the conversation, right? Is now on this sort of side, when you sort of build up a side and say, this is where you're going to have your best game, those problems, like the drone counting, like the missed moments, they can't be glossed over in the same way. Because what beastcoast have, and what they've been close to on a lot of their defenses, was winning rounds. The problem was, you're up against FaZe Clan who have exceptional gun skill, they'll throw themselves in and get there. That isn't as achievable as a sort of play style in terms of the defense, and beastcoast can still sort of try and cook to a recipe and hope that they can finish smashing their way through. The pressure onto the wall will get, well, the pressure on both walls, both open pretty cleanly. But where do they go next?
Well, FaZe like to wrap around quite a bit and clear out that Exhibition Office side, the Team Karaoke side, excuse me. Cyber in literally the exact same spot with the exact same gun 2 rounds in a row.
Loves minibar.
I mean, I'd put Cyber here too in the strat. Like, it makes perfect sense.
You're calling.
Yeah. Well,
hey, man, Cyber, I need you.
Put him in minibar, and here we go. We see Diffuser wrapping around to the T Karaoke side as well, but KDS very aware of it. I like that long angle as well to watch top black and see if Diffuser pops up, and I take the DMR over the FMG9 on this set of engagements.
I mean, in the right hands, it absolutely tears through pretty much every single fabric-like wall of this. They can't even get their way up towards the top of the black stairs. Handy's holding them off for now, and pre-firing, pre-aiming. Doesn't need to sit around and take that engagement forever, Handy, because he knows the longer he's there, the more likely one of Diffuser's friends is going to show up and maybe try and put pressure elsewhere.
If you actually see the outlines right now, there's nobody actually inside of Drag. Okay, Souls, I was about to say, just walks in there to make sure nobody hops in the window that Handy's right behind. So they are holding on to this quite well. FaZe really keeping Beast Coast at bay at the moment, and they've tried to add this T-Karaoke dimension with how good FaZe are holding on. If they get a 5v4, they can retreat pretty quickly. Pretty easily, too.
That's the sort of thread right here is Cotton now takes a big chunk of damage as well. There's no direct fights that are happening. They haven't been able to find a single step in. The pressure's coming up from underneath. There's a shotgun of Vidaking. It's about to try and make a friend, and there's still not the confidence to go for the pressure itself. Gaveni, he's coming around the back end. Vidaking's already sort of read it. There's the crossfire. He read it a little bit too slow, but they do get one back in. Cyber gets the cover. On towards the split. Spirits is gone. They're stepping themselves in. 30 seconds, a mistimed moment there. The Swing and the Nook still trying to fight these fights, but two Beast Coast players stuck on the door. One gets the trade. They're able to somehow, but not for very long, have the advantage of 1 versus 1. Everything happened around the terrace side, and now Gaveni, who opened up the pressure, is looking for the last swing. He knows pretty much exactly where he is, but pretty much isn't good enough.
Ooh, okay. I'm getting a little nervous. Beast Coast have a lot of fight in these mid rounds. And unfortunately, 2 rounds in a row, it's flip the map, like flip the sides of the map. It's basically the exact same story at the beginning of that roam clear. Beast Coast in round 7, sit inside or around Exhibition and Office for 2 minutes, but Gavini's able to get a double kill. They convert the round afterwards. Round 8, Beast Coast, sit inside and outside tier karaoke for 2 minutes. And nobody gets a multi-kill, but Beast Coast's individual performance, their fragging, has been very, very good so far, and they're still able, after all those engagements, to get the 3v2. And with how far up KDS was pushed, I was a little concerned after Diffuser got team flashed, because he was going to swing around, kill KDS.
Yep.
Nothing happened. KDS goes 1 for 1, but Beast Coast, to their credit, in a best of 1, they're hitting their shots consistently. And even if I think the overall strategy and game plan is a bit lacking right now, they are hitting the shots they need to hit, and it's keeping it competitive with FaZe.
We have a very brief technical pause, hopefully. We're just getting things back in. A problem happens, and we fix them. We don't fix them.
I'm over there. I'm soldering.
Yeah.
Possibly welding.
You don't know how long the cables are for our headsets. And how far away we are from the players.
And also, we got one of those, like, you know, those machines that, like, yeah, I can do, you know, I'm in, like, Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm doing surgery in London, England.
Oh, yeah, like one of those, we spent a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I got to fix the PCs.
On a surgical computer to fix them from range.
Well, the computer's not surgical.
No, that's why I think it's a bad investment from our side.
The computer can't do surgery?
I think we probably should have got...
Are you a machine functionalist?
What?
That's a philosophy that tries to simulate the mind as a computer, as a thinking machine.
Yeah, well, we are machines.
I mean, are we?
Beep, boop, beep. We're back in the game. See, I'm a machine and I know this.
How do you know? We're watching the players right now.
How do I know? Because of the machine.
It's because Cyber's locking
It cost us 15 billion.
15 billion?
Yeah, you and I need to have a talk about our finances later.
I was about to say, I asked for 20 billion in my contract.
4-4. Beast Coast, and they're on the precipice, and it becomes almost unfair to sort of say, remember this round where they could have won, because you're entirely right. We're getting both of those now. Beast Coast are putting in great fight. FaZe are making mistakes, but they also know their way around a gun, know their way around killing people in their game. So it's awkward and almost impossible to cite certain rounds because, yeah, it probably should be an even game right now. It probably should be, regardless of what you steal and what you try to put in someone else's pockets. But will the tech pause beat the drive? Neither team has called attack timeout. And you're wondering at what point might we, because we're getting closer and closer.
I would say if Beast Coast would one more attack, FaZe call attack timeout. That'd be my guess. I would actually say, I think no matter who wins this round, I would not be shocked if we see attack timeout. Even if, because let's say, all right, Beast Coast went around, have now won 2 attacks. FaZe, DEFCON 5. You're starting to lose it a little bit. If FaZe win this round and Beast Coast have a similar start to their rounds that they've had in their Karaoke attack and their Exhibition Office attack, where they sit outside for 2 minutes and they only clear the roam or get an advantage because of big individual performances, then at that point you need to call the attack timeout and try to fix that. Because sure, you can hit your shots, but if FaZe are constantly out-structuring them, it's a bit difficult.
I love those plays. The quick Maverick with the player on the rappel, ready to go. You can use it to bait bandits as well sometimes. You'll sort of play the EMP, let the bandit come in, and then roll the Maverick line and then kill them. I think we saw it in OS. As was one of the first times that I saw it personally. I'm sure James Devmata is somewhere is like,
I remember the clip you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. It was in Australia, Siege.
It's like he's here with me.
It's like he's here, but unfortunately, he is.
Oh, Beast goes down to 2 drones with 1:40 seconds left.
The drone game for both teams has been a challenge. Now, obviously, the Solace has been pretty consistent for both teams, but at the same time...
Oh, we're opening up Geisha Wall with an LMG, huh?
Oh, that's how we're doing
They
it.
don't want to rotate Gavini over. My man is locked in, apparently.
Yeah, they're going to make sure he gets his money's worth for all the bullets he's brought along with him. But at this point, okay, I was about to say, the first engagement hasn't happened. No, Gunner hops in on the back end, finds Cyber. Again, this was the catch. This was the conversation that you said about Secret when he kept on being an early body or the body that would get taken and sort of shift around balance.
Beast not down to 2 drones. What just happened? Am I blind?
I think you are.
I swear I saw it look like they were down to 2 drones. That's my bad. That's on me, guys. And honestly, that's even worse for FaZe because they've got Geisha control, they've got Gavini who can lurk through delivery, and they've got a 5v3. Yeah, this round is actually way better for Beast Coast than it was like 30 seconds ago.
Okay, Gunner pops his head round and pops one. There's a fight on a rappel, but at the same time, look at Hotton. He's happy, he's planting, he's tucked in right inside the site itself, and bam. We're in a post-plant 5 versus 1. Gunner's got a triple, and you're sort of wondering where FaZe have been. That's 4 for Gunner. It's not always the coach that's the most...
You tell him, Fett.
You gotta get it out.
You tell him.
Get it out, brother.
Him and Kenny, they're both very loud coaches. Kenny, unfortunately, didn't have a lot to yell about. It's 7-0 loss.
Yeah.
ITB to M80, but right now, as I predicted, Beast Coast have forced the tack timeout out of FaZe, and big difference there for Beast Coast. Extremely clear and well-executed game plan. They don't go for a roam clear. They go for a heavy ISO, with the only thing, Gunner on the other side of the map taking a 1v1, then he immediately backs off and helps the team on clearing out the rest of the top floor once they go in for the execute, because Beast Coast make the decision. They say, okay, we want to get a plant inside a kitchen. We've opened up Geisha. We know nobody's playing it. We've got the cutoff. If anybody rotates back, they can't play the vertical angles. And guess what? Gavini's got control of delivery, and there's nobody there. He can skeleton key open the barricade, take a fight with anybody that could be there. It was a very good read from Beast Coast, getting exactly what they needed and no more. It makes sense why FaZe are taking the tack timeout, because they would need 3 rounds in a row to close this out in regulation, and that's something that they have not really been able to do convincingly on this defensive side, considering they've only won.
Unrelated to anything serious.
That's good.
You know when coaches high-five players' fists?
Yeah.
Right? And this is something Fresh said, and so I'm just going to throw... I'm not going to throw Fresh into it. Is it because the players don't want to hurt their knuckles? I don't know if Fresh was just lying.
I'm going to keep it so real. Gamers are a bunch of, like, awkward people, and I imagine just sometimes, like, you go for a high five, somebody goes for a fist bump.
Some people do. No, it's the coach, like, sort of wraps their hand around.
I don't know. Maybe they got a thing with their knuckles.
Protect their knuckles. Keep them. I mean,
it's a bit more intimate than a fist bump, I would say.
It's very.
Maybe that's how the coach indicates who his favorite players are for the match.
It's like a gold star chart.
Yeah. If you get a fist bump, he's like, I'm not happy with you. When you get you get the hand wrap around the fist, he's like, big dog.
You're my favorite. You're my big dog.
You're my big dog.
All right, FaZe, what was the conversation and how are you going to adapt yourself? Beast Coast, they're playing great right now. They're playing better than I thought people generally expected. Based on the predictions at the start, it was, what, 80%?
Oh, yeah, the game plan has been, I mean, on the attack it's been a bit iffy, but that round was great from Beast Coast.
Yep. And it was led in by Gunner, getting a 4K, but 2 of those were the first 2 engagements of the game, and they were about 20 seconds apart as well. Got one, got out, got back in, got another. Will he be another pointed drive? You're on towards the starting site here, Karaoke, as they did. And remember, this was Beast Coast. They didn't have a lot, then they suddenly had everything. There was a couple of very scrappy fights that need some clarity.
And given the change we saw on Barbecue, a bit more limited of a take, and the introduction of the Blitz, I think we're going to see something similar here. Probably instead going for something more on the Blackstair side or rushing into Geisha, but I don't think they're going to go for the full clear inside of Exhibition and Office, especially with Spirits down below. No, he's going to Deathmark Tracker and shoot through the floor.
That's exactly what I'm excited to see. They have the rough pings. They're going to play it. They're hoping they got the right catch, and you have a little bit of time
Here we
before before they can really react. And there it is, underneath, firing up, doesn't get the connection. Now the Deimos knows, but the Blitz, does he know how close he is to the fight? Yes, either side, blinded around the corner. Hot and Cold's going to get the connection, but he doesn't get the down. Great pick up there by Souls, but he can't quite get in action yet. There's also the down of Handy. One apiece. Now, the cement comes out of them. They're able to get the player back up with the Doctor, who was in a lot of charges, but as Gunner gets charged down, the rush has fallen away.
And uh-oh.
That was as close as you like. Is the Doctor still in? He's now saying, he's like, yeah, it's me again.
He's like, could I get one more?
Could I get one more, please, bud? Deimos, a bullet shy of the fight. Gaveni's trying to drive in. Handy is healed once again. And I mean, at this point now, what do you do here from Beast Coast? They need to try and...
They still got to recover the diffuser. It's still dropped in Geisha.
Yeah, see if they can try and get that pressure back. There's a fight that Gaveni gets from good positioning, but now he's revealed. And now he's revealed by the bullets of Vidaking. Cyber does go down. He's got one more charge, I think, to get himself back up. But he can't. There's suddenly a 2 versus 2 Spirits. Pushes his way up the main stairs and gets a drop onto a single player. 30 seconds is a lot of time.
It is a lot of time, and there may be 2 1v1s. The Spirits goes down below. He's going to take the fight on top black. He's out of Deathmark trackers, so he can't isolate this engagement. But is he going to go for the backstab? Somebody's got to plant. It's likely Diffuse, but with these flashes in this AK, can they find this 1v1?
Oh, there's the scrappy fight over the back end of the T-room. They're able to win it out. Spirits has the connection, but 7 seconds. Vidaking, he's holding down the back of the corridor. A lot of damage to the Diffuser, but not enough. He doesn't have the explosion. The pre-fire of Spirits! Somehow, Beast Coast returned!
He's doing it on land, boys! He has returned to the international stage, and he covers Diffuser. Hot and Cold telling the team, let's lock back in. Job's not done. Beast Coast up 6-4 now on a map that this roster has not played this stage. And this org has not played in over a year. And they have got FaZe Clan on the ropes, 6-4. And I can say after that, the Diffuser just typed in chat, Sky defense, boys. And honestly, ace fair. Because the only round FaZe have on this defensive side is a Souls Gavini 1v1. If Gavini pre-fire Shrine, if he hits those shots, Beast Coast have given FaZe, not their first, but their second 7-3 loss of the tournament. If Gavini wins that 1v1 with that round we just saw. Beast Coast have played the better game on defense. Their structure looked better. And on the attack, since that barbecue round, the game plan has looked a lot better. Sure, Hot and Cold died with the Diffuser. That's whatever. But they recovered. They played patient, they reset, and they got the round because of it.
6-4 now. This won't decide who goes home and who doesn't, but it does put FaZe, I think, 1 series away from that risk. They can still fight their way across. It goes into best of 3 territory. However, what a boon this would be for Beast Coast. The train that just keeps on chugging.
Little engine that could. I mean, I said little engine that could. They did win the NAL.
No, but that's from, regardless of who the players are, from coming together and putting the pressure in.
I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I'm going to check in with the other stream, see what's going on. Talon are up 6-3 against BDS.
What is going on?
So there is a chance BDS and FaZe could meet in the lower bracket if Beast Coast win this game.
That's who Beast Coast was celebrating. So you are sitting opposite, not the people you're playing against. We saw Diffuser pointing and celebrating with somebody on the other side. I'm assuming it's PSG Talon.
Sweeping for electronics.
Oh
the energy in this room right now.
I gotta close the laptop. I'm gonna start casting the other game. That's actually insane. Anyway, back in this game.
This first pick is going to be very important. You're looking at the lineup here. Again, you've got the drive of Spirits with the Candelas, with the Ying, the control that Grim can offer. He is in such a good spot right now. And obviously, ever since coming their way back in, Gunner had the 4K round. Only really died in the previous one. But if he can get a connection here, they can start peeling apart. They can set themselves up.
They can, but they're going for another limited take, and that means with the Ying and the Grim on the board, they need to get good value out of this utility. We see teams a lot bring these operators to great success, but teams might use all the Bs, but aren't able to push in, use all the Candelas, not able to push in. They are so powerful when used at the same time.
Cyber doing this risky little mini-bar dance again, and he wasn't quite served up last time, but you don't want to give him that first body. You don't want to give him that first engagement. Gunner is sat, waiting, watching, wishing he could get a wing here of a very eager and active player. The tricks come out. There's the wall, but it won't matter because, look, if you put it there, that gets blown open as well. They're in, and they're blown back. KDS, a very important kill onto Houghton.
Very important kill on a Houghton. Diffuser trying to wrap around for the trade. He doesn't even get that. 5v2, the structure for phase 2, good. No Grim. Candela's being messed up outside. Beast Coast not closing it out 7-4.
Maybe. The nerves have connected a little bit too tight. That first kill, as I said, massively important. Great idea, but not quite netted. Cyber still.
That's a spot.
Still in the minibar, serving up pain, which is a little glass of
MP5 bullets, I suppose.
MP5 bullets. Do not drink this at home.
Please don't.
By the signaling of the headsets, I'm not sure. I'm assuming, yep, Beast Coast calling the timeout. They want to just get their heads together. One round. One round.
Yeah. This is gonna be a great day. Oh, this is gonna be a good
For how
day.
quick the first 2 games were.
It's like a shot of adrenaline in my veins when I saw that PSG talent score. I'm like, oh.
Fabian's going to be unbearable.
Can you imagine?
He already is.
PSG talent beat BDS and Beast Coast we were predicting, like everyone and their mother was predicting, some combination of a FaZe, BDS, and Furia final. A win for one of those 3 teams this major. And you're telling me BDS and FaZe might lose at the same time? What a funny world.
What a world.
What a world.
What a
What a
wild.
wonderful world
What a
this
wild.
could be. Great song. Good timeout for Beast Coast, honestly, because like you said, winning this attack, it's going to be very important. 1 round. Because where are FaZe going to go? Where are they going to go? You've won T Karaoke. Wait. Yeah, you won T Karaoke. FaZe then win Exhibition and Office, as we just saw.
They've only won Exhibition and Office.
Exactly. And where are they going to go? Are you prepping for T Karaoke? Or, in this case, as you now see, FaZe have gone bedroom.
Oh, why?
FaZe have gone bedroom and bathroom. But for the same logic we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It can catch teams off guard, and I'm being perfectly honest. Even though FaZe are fighting back, even though FaZe are just trying to get overtime, not a regulation win, on paper, I trust FaZe to properly call an attack on this site that rarely gets played than Beast Coast. Not saying I doubt Beast Coast's skill. I mean, they're 6'5" for a reason. They're performing really good. But Hot Cold, he's called before, but he's the primary caller now. A new role he stepped in on Beast Coast, being the guy leading the charge.
Yep.
This team has shown, in the first half, a little bit of shakiness when they're getting used to sites. When they were attacking all sites for the first time, save for barbecue, it took a bit to get their feet under them. They were bailed out by individual performances. It's been when they've been retrying sites that they looked a lot better. So you throw something new at them, force them to read things as it's happening in front of them. Maybe Beast Coast take 2 minutes again to clear out a round.
Getting the busy work done inside the site, first of all, and as he said, time is that worry right now. Time in how long they get themselves ready to approach. Now, when this was won by FaZe, it was very direct. They threw themselves in towards the site. They're ready for the fight, Cyber. And where else?
I'm getting flashbacks when Hyena was playing in Tellers with from MP5 ACOG. Like, this is his spot.
This is Cyber's spot. You can't knock him out. If he gets a kill from the back of this, well, I mean, it would be par for the course. He's got it a few times, but it becomes this focus of attention. You know he's just going to be doing that for a while. You know he's smart enough to not offer a full fight to you, and you know if you try and get him on the rappel, well, he's very, very quick and probably just going to shoot you in the face.
He's just playing it so smart. He keeps jiggle peeking. He's not falling to that bait that Beast Coast are going for. To his credit, like, he might have been playing there a lot of the times and not really doing anything, but he's not trolling in that position. And ultimately, when you're in this spot, just having the threat in Beast Coast's face, destroying drones, that is more than enough. And especially in Master Bedroom and Bathroom right now, holding down this top floor with Cyber as kind of the main piece of it is incredibly important. And I mentioned Beast Coast might take 2 minutes to clear out a roam again. Look what's happening. They're trying to react to what's in front of them, but it's over half the round gone, 4 drones remaining, and they haven't made a lot of progress. They've made their way into T Karaoke right now, but they're still 30 seconds away minimum from clearing out this roam, especially if Handy can get a kill here.
They've also pushed up round the back. Cyber gets 2, and there's that swing round. He found himself the new position. They do find one on the back end of it, but with Cyber still just exploring the map, Souls gets Gaveni. Great bit of movement there from FaZe. Realized what was happening, realized the take that was coming in, and refused to fall for it. Gunner's inside the site. Now that gunfight not quite going his way means that they're well aware. Hotten's trying to do the same thing. Round the corner, gets one downed. The finish coming out. It's just 30 seconds of being steadily surrounded. Cannot find it. We're going into overtime, Carter.
6-6, FaZe stay alive. But it's not been a clean half whatsoever. They get a good one that round. Get a 4v2. They convert it. One of the best looking defenses we've had so far, but I'm still thinking about the fact that this game ends in regulation if Souls does not win that 1v1. FaZe are starting defense, and you think to yourself at the start of this game, oh, well, if it goes to OT, FaZe have got this in the bag. I don't know if they do. The defense looked comparatively better than the attack, but Beast Coast have looked consistently better on both of these sides, especially now. Beast Coast have seen everything. They've seen all 4 sites. You can't just throw Master Bedroom and Bathroom at them, catch them off guard. Beast Coast have seen everything right now, and when they were reattempting sites, when they were attacking things for the second time, they looked a lot better in their first attempt, so they have this experience. They've got 2 attempts on the attacking side, and going to Exhibition and Office, guess what? You know Cyber's probably going to be playing Minibar, so there's still some known quantities that you can absolutely bet on. Unless they reinforce Minibar, which would be the twist of the century.
I no longer trust the drone counter in the top left.
I saw somebody pull out their phone, and a drone went from being dead to being alive.
I think we've been...
Yeah, you think they got 2 drones left?
Okay.
I knew I didn't mistake it earlier.
So,
I knew
that's
it.
probably worth noting from now on. We will not do that. So all of the talk about FaZe's drone game being missing earlier, all of the talk about Beast Coast drone game, unfortunately, we were lying to you
That's
all.
very... I mean, we might not have been lying.
We were being lied to, though.
Yes.
Now they have 5 drones again. Yeah, okay. All right. What is going to be the first strike? This is the only site that has consistently been locked in for FaZe's defense. Handy on the back end is just going to give himself the chance to rotate. He doesn't want to give them a free body, and it's worth the trade in utility.
No, and having a Kiba on that, delaying Beast Coast clear, that's what this operator is for. And to FaZe's credit, Beast Coast have found their way back into rounds, but hello, Gavini. He's found a bit of a gap, Emmy.
Can he make use of it, though?
1 player in Geisha right now. He could cut him off.
I mean, he's been able to get a couple of very important kills throughout. He's been able to get big motions. King is just going to slip his way. Whether they smell blood on the water, they're not going to swim behind it to see what's there. The position is given away because ultimately time becomes a horrible factor.
They don't have anything, though. Beast Coast are still grasping for this control. They don't have anything solid. They might have been able to cut off King, but FaZe are playing it safe. They are very aware of it, but now they're sending it in.
There's the blitz, getting the swing through. Spirits gets the opener, gets time for a reload. KDS gets caught as well. Gaveni watching the very long angle. This is their best approach I think they've ever got.
Absolutely the best approach. Handy's in a really difficult spot right here because with 1:10 seconds left, you want to hold on to Dragon, hold on as long as you can, but you really have to retreat to this position. Try to dodge the flashes, hold out, but he's out of Kibas to place. Everything we see right now will stay for the remainder of the round, and Beast Coast still have that blitz. They have the ability to run into a site, apply pressure, send flashbangs ahead of them too, and really pressure this. This might need to be a throw from Beast Coast at this point because aside from that C4 from Soul, somebody's got to miss on the attacking side.
Cyber's in Cyber spot and a blitz is trying to stop him. The impact gets a little bit of a side, but it's a scrappy fight. Then Cyber and Handy get all the lockdown on the crossfire. Gunner, he's trying to have an impact, but he's locked out by Cyber.
That's his spot!
Place. That's his spot!
The strat dictates Cyber can play one place and one place only.
Where's that place?
Give me Minibar or give him death. 4K for Cyber to put FaZe on match point and to stop. As you said, one of the best starts Beast Coast have had. They were taking a lot of time. I'm sitting there thinking, oh no, Are they going to fall back into the same spot they were in the first half of the attack? Getting a lot of intel, not acting off of it. Gavini's got to piece up 2 people to get them a 5v3, and they do get a 5v3. But not from somebody going huge, but from a genuinely good clear. They use Spirits to send it in through Geisha, get that first pick. They cut off the player inside of Drum, trying to rotate back to get that 5v3. It was a good setup. Even if it took a long time to have impact, the idea was clear from Beast Coast. They got the advantage. But then FaZe, holding on. They know where the push is coming from, and I think Beast Coast, they hit the execute, getting a little bit ahead of themselves. Blitz rushes in, Handy retakes the angle, shoots in the back. 2 players die before that, losing 1v1s. FaZe needed to heat up after the secret game yesterday. Starting to heat up now with Cyber and Souls and KDS, all on double digits.
We find ourselves back towards Exhibition, a site that has been technically back and forth, but if we remember the first time it was won by FaZe on their attack, and the only time it was won by FaZe on their attack, it was down to sending it into sight, getting your gunfights and getting something that, yeah, you can do it, but it's not something you can rely on independently. Beast Coast believe they can pressure that approach game and make sure it gets locked in, and that's going to be the start here. Cyber gets the eyes on towards the restaurant cross, make sure nobody is able to find their way back towards them.
Oh, Cyber. Finally, you're heating up after costing a little bit yesterday in terms of that positioning. Pinched out relentlessly by Secret. A player that needed to come into his individual form today, and he's doing it quite well. If he comes into form on attack, that'll be great too. Will Beast Coast be able to stop it if that happens? Who knows? The structure from Beast Coast is very good on these defenses, holding down Shrine and Terrace, especially those kind of rotation positions that the defense can often get cut off on. It can be very difficult to hold. They're running the same thing back. They've got the Azami, they've got the shield, but more importantly, Vidiking has these Rotero drones. One Kiba kind of messed up the attack last time, but they were so good overall on this utility clear. If they just focus a bit more on clearing out the player from behind the Dragon, that fallback position Spirits can retake, it will go a long way for FaZe.
Cyber, huge amount of damage and a little bit more. There's the first kill in Diffuser's favor, holding out underneath and gets rid of the Ashe early.
Might be 5 and 11, but that's an impactful 5th kill to find to cut down the 13-8 menace on the Ashe to give Beast Coast the man advantage. And Diffuser still in the win. Look at this setup right now for Beast Coast. Minute 20 seconds left. Gavini still has Drum. Spirit still has Dragon with support from Gunner behind him. And Diffuser's down below with that Solus. It's a position FaZe have been in a few times now. They're running low on time and they've got to make a decision. Will they send the guy down below, take the 1v1 with Diffuser, and try and go for that kill? Will they try to clear out this roam? They've certainly droned Gavini, and I don't think he knows it based on that drone that just went by him. Oh yeah, they're going for the pitch. Look at that.
I mean, yeah, he had no idea he'd been revealed at that point, covered by the angle. It was a risky position to play, and it's one that's been punished.
This is where the round's going to hinge right now. Gunner's position inside a Dragon. If this falls, FaZe have it. If it stays alive, Beast Coast will push us to 15.
But you can see they're prepped here. Usually it was just a hop in from the Shrine window, but there is 4 bodies of FaZe all lined up, ready to try and ram raid their way across the back end here now. A little bit of a rotate. Vidiking, he's going to try and pinch up the VIP stairs as well. He's the only one that's a bit solo. 3 Shrine players all stacked up. Diffuser's holding the back end. Suffers a little bit, but sees the red dot of this, the encroaching player that's entirely surrounded by 2. It's an important fight for Diffuser to win. They've pulled themselves back. Beast Coast, they're letting them in and saying, we're going to shut the door on you. But FaZe shoot back all the way across. There's the cross from Gunner and Diffuser. His 3rd in the round. And we are going to every single one of them.
What did I tell you? Dragon right there. 30 seconds left. Too low time. And Beast Coast make a little bit of a risky call, but one that ends up paying off. They give it up. They stop actively holding it. They fall back to House. They fall back to Exhibition. And if FaZe push in quickly while they're rotating, they could very well have lost that round if FaZe move quickly, but they don't. And then Diffuser, with that intel down below at bottom house to get that kill, destroy the players on the back line. What can FaZe do but sprint in through one door with only 10 seconds left? Beast Coast, a very well-played defense. And Emmy, I know you're jumping for joy right now. Why is that?
Because where do they go? Where do you go? Because nobody is enjoying Geisha this game.
Chekhov's
People are having a back and forth. We're back in the bedroom, but FaZe, they're technically 100% on it. They won it on their attack. They won it on their defense. This is the problem here. Statistically, numerically, spiritually, emotionally.
Not emotionally for me right now.
It's not a fantastic fantastic site to hold on your defense. But you can hold it. There are ways. And this is something that both these teams know. Beast Coast, you're looking at a ship that is sailing and has sailed through a lot of storms, but it is a little bit broken. It's a little bit knocked aside. There are loose planks you can pull apart and maybe find a plot. Remember, somehow against all the tide of it, even though they lost, Beast Coast suddenly had 2 players in the site. There are ways here.
There are ways.
Just 1 round. And it's bedroom.
2 minutes and 35 seconds. It's going to end one way or the other. Will it be FaZe going to the promotion or Beast Coast with the promotion? Based on those cheering, I think somebody might have just got upset. We'll have to see, though. Gunner's certainly angry after that kill. Handy cuts down Gunner. 5v4 established now for FaZe. They've got the advantage. Beast Coast need to go for this clear now. Down a man, especially the Ying 2, no Candelas. You want to clear the path for the Blitz ahead of them to get Spirits that control, get him that pressure, and some easy pickings once he actually pushes on that clear or that site. But now with that gone, now with that advantage in FaZe's favor, they can play a bit more passive.
Such a sort of role now, such a risk. Spirits, he knows how to handle a blitz. He knows how to handle his positioning and vicinity towards the fight ahead of them, and that's exactly what we talked about before, is they found a punch when everything was going against them beforehand. They're trying to build on the far end. They're trying to get that delivery line into their control and just encircle around. They're tiptoeing and dancing on a fight that FaZe is sitting patiently waiting on.
They are. They're ready for it. Look at this long angle. Spirits might run in, but FaZe still have the vertical angles too in the 4v5. Beast Coast are getting a bit too linear for my liking. If this blitz push doesn't work out, if they commit to it and then he falls, there's no way for Beast Coast back in. There's no time to recover. This is round 15 after all.
They force him off the long angle. Vidaking has to send his way upstairs, but Diffuser knows that pressure might come from behind him. If they lose one more body, it's done, and Handy was the start. Spirits, you are the start of a train, the little engine that could. Can it still do? Diffuser gets Handy. We're about to see some roll of the smoke. They cover the long angle. Vidaking, he just hits with the rhythm of a man trying to kill, but KDS, he's the important one. They're planting, they're blinding, they're bashing, and they're breaking their way through on the side. It's a post plant. FaZe could not hold off, but they do suddenly find 1.5. So it's only 2 standing players, Gaveni and Hot and Cold, hoping for this lock. Spirits is back up. Somehow they've been able to get the shield back in play. 30 seconds. A bit of a C4. Doesn't quite get a connection. Now with Spirits tucked, he cannot play the angle. There is FaZe! Unfortunately, one step too much. Beast Coast gave it everything and then some more. But FaZe are still somehow that step ahead.
But if there's anything we can learn, it is that in Manchester, God certainly can bleed. And being the favorites does not mean your day will necessarily come. BDS losing to Talent and FaZe 1 round away from losing. There is a winnable game for Beast Coast, a 1v1. If Gavini kills Souls, Beast Coast win 7-3 in regulation against FaZe. He doesn't. And in the long game, the system from FaZe prevails, and a heart-wrenching loss for Beast Coast. A win that they, honestly, based on that play for a lot of that half, deserve. I think FaZe still looking very problematic, a bit cold as well from yesterday. Better in the kills overall, 3 players with double digits. But that structure that has seemed so reliable, indomitable from FaZe so often, it's still looking like it's got cracks in it.
I mean, as close as it could possibly be. FaZe's run so far, a 3-7 loss, a 7-5 win, and an 8-7 win. They're tournament favorites. They've come off the back of one of the best years of Siege any team has ever played. It's not looking fantastic at the same time. Beast Coast, again, a huge fight. We wondered why Skyscraper. They had a game here.
They did.
They could have had the game here.
Especially with this individual performance. I mean, sure, you look at Cyber 16 kills and you're thinking, wow, you know, Clearly, FaZe were in the lead, but Gavini, Spirits, and Gunner were 3 of the best players we had that entire time, all dropping double digits as well, all having a bit of an impact. Sure, Hot and Cold and Diffuser weren't big factors, but think about this. 2 of Diffuser's kills, that flank in the first round, then that next kill on House Stairs, he was having high-impact moments, Hot and Cold as well, calling this game. beastcoast showing a lot of promise, and I've been very harsh on FaZe, to be fair, so I will give them credit. Overall, it was a better game than yesterday, especially against Secret, and honestly, better than the game against Liquid as well. It's the best they've looked so far, but we're grading them on a different curve. beastcoast is a new roster, FaZe are tournament favorites.
Yep.
FaZe aren't necessarily playing in tournament-winning form right now, but they're getting better, and that's important considering how yesterday went.
I mean, you have to give credit to beastcoast, but unfortunately you also have to give them the barrel of a gun. You have to look at them now facing down a single series to separate whether they stick around or whether, unfortunately, they're going to be one of those teams that is left watching. FaZe will not entirely progress yet. They're sort of still in the middle, still hanging out. They still have time to improve and get themselves more locked in, but there needs to be that next gear for them.
It does. FaZe need to heat up a little bit more, I think, to really build and fulfill a lot of the people's wishes, which is to see FaZe bounce back from that loss in SI. The World Championship, that still, in my opinion, I think is rightfully theirs. But to see them bounce back and actually win the Manchester Major, more work needs to be done because Furio's showing up. But BDS and FaZe, the other two, and with BDS's loss in that close game from FaZe.
We got to go see it now. So we're going to throw to a break. I'm going to go watch this game because I need to know how much Fabian's going to talk about this. I'll see you later.